Well, good day, my friends. It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. How are you all doing today? I hope you said great. We are going to have a great day today because we are going to go and visit and pay our respects to the great SAL MINEO. Daze with Jordan the Lion and you all. It begins right now. Here we are at the Gate of Heaven Cemetery. I've actually been here before because this is where Babe Ruth and Billy Martin are buried. I think James Cagney is also buried here, but I only visited Babe Ruth and Billy Martin last time. So Sal has a rather small grave here with his family. Actually shares a small headstone with his brother Michael, who was also an actor, right next to their parents. Sal had such a sad way of passing. Actually murdered by some thug robber trying to get drug money. Didn't even take the money, left the money laying there. SAL MINEO. January 10th, 1939 to February 12th, 1976. Right here beside his parents, Salvatore and Josephine. Father was a coffin maker. And apparently Sal at a young age was getting into trouble and even had joined a young gang. And a talent scout saw him and said that it looked like he had some ability. He was very likable, so he told his mother, Josephine, that she should enroll him in some sort of acting school to keep him out of trouble. And so that's exactly what ended up happening. He took dance and singing lessons, but he also was enrolled in the Quintano School for Young Professionals. And through there he ended up finding his way, getting work very early on. He was cast for his very first stage appearance in Tennessee Williams' The Rose Tattoo, and then right after that he was on Broadway in The King and I, playing a young king opposite of Yul Brynner. This is neat. This little award that is here is for Sal, and it actually says SAL MINEO, two-time Oscar nominee, Italian legend. Yeah, he found his way to Hollywood and was cast opposite of James Dean, Natalie Wood, Rebel Without a Cause, and was nominated for an Oscar for his supporting actor role in that movie as Plato, which that's a great movie, and it's a sad role for him. I mean, the way we lose Plato and everything, but he was nominated for an Oscar at the age of 17 years old. And then worked again with James Dean in Giant. Kind of amazing to think about. James Dean only made 3 movies, and 2 of which were SAL MINEO, and Sal was really good in that. I mean, he had to play a Mexican that's just belittled through the movie and then goes off to fight in war, and when he comes back he's treated, you know, poorly with racial tones and everything. But I mean, before even he was Plato, before getting nominated for an Oscar at the age of 17, before that he was beating out Clint Eastwood for movies, and he beat him out to 6 Bridges to Cross. When Rebel Without a Cause came out, SAL MINEO was bombarded with fan mail, and when they went to the premieres, he was bombarded by young female fans in love with him. He dated the most beautiful women in Hollywood, New York City during this time. Even though Sal didn't have a very long career, I mean, I think he only made a little over 20 pictures. A lot of them are really well-known pictures, which is amazing. Plus, he's one of the few people during that time that kept his Italian surname when people were changing it because of, you know, various things going on in the world at the time. He kept his name and was also one of the first actors to be openly bisexual. I think Sal always felt like people knowing about his sexuality ended up hurting his career, because there were things that, movies that he thought that he should have gotten, that he auditioned for, like Lawrence of Arabia, and he didn't. And he said that one minute It seemed like I had more movie offers than I could handle, and then the next, no one wanted me. And he would always be cast, it seemed like, for an ethnicity or something that he wasn't, and never Italian. Remember, he was in a movie called Tonka. He was also a drummer and played Gene Krupa in the Gene Krupa story. I mean, that's really an amazing performance. To be able to portray Gene Krupa, that's one that doesn't get talked about often enough in my mind. Like I said, he was never cast as an Italian, it seemed like, but his second Oscar nomination and what he would actually win a Golden Globe for was a movie called Exodus, where he was playing a Jewish Holocaust survivor. At some point, his career started to kind of stall in Hollywood, so he started doing more theater, found his way up to San Francisco and was doing plays there, and then was doing television to get by, and was also came back down to Los Angeles and was rehearsing another theater project when he came home one night and a man robbed him, came up to him and stabbed him one time in the heart. Now the man who did it went home and told his wife that he had stabbed somebody but didn't know who it was or anything, and then the wife ended up telling a friend of hers that he told her that, and then the guy ends up in jail who killed Sal for unrelated crimes in Michigan, and then is bragging to people in jail that he killed Sal Mineo. So word got back, they sent him back to Los Angeles to be charged, and when they went to question the man who killed Sal's wife, I'm not even going to dignify him by giving his name, I just think he's just such a scumbag. His wife, when they went to question her, ended up taking her own life. And they did end up getting a conviction in 1978, 2 years after he was tried and convicted, and then paroled in 1990, and then got sent back to jail again because he violated parole. Didn't even know who he was robbing. He was just on a drug binge out looking to rob. He had robbed several people that night and stabbed Sal Mineo, killed him, and Sal had really no money on him. And it's just the end of an acting legend who didn't get to live hardly any of his life. He was, mid-30s, had so much more to give, so much more acting to do, had his life stolen from him and his family. But boy, talk about great performances. I'm not kidding. You go watch Rebel Without a Cause, or I like Giant even better. Rest in peace, Sal Mineo. Sad he didn't have a wife or any kids or anyone left behind in God's care. Some of Sal's best known works were Six Bridges to Cross, The Private War of Major Benjamin, Rebel Without a Cause, Giant, Dino, Tonka, the Gene Krupa story, of course, Exodus, The Longest Day, Escape from Planet of the Apes, which was actually his last movie. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit about Sal Mineo if you didn't know about him today. Great actor whose life was sadly cut short for a very stupid reason. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next time. Have a great night, and goodbye.